Good day, everyone. I am Marialine Isatam, a third year BS Ed student. Today, I will be discussing the topic tips for writing a lead and what to avoid, which is an essential skill in campus journalism and news writing. As what Shani Ann has discussed earlier, a lead is the opening sentence or paragraph of a news story. So its main purpose is to capture the reader's attention while presenting the most important information. So for the first tip in writing a lead, we have the five W's and the one H. So before writing a lead, a journalist must decide which aspect of the story, such as who, what, when, where, why, or how, these will determine the type of lead to be used. The most significant detail should appear in the first sentence, while the less important information may be placed in the following sentences. So in simple terms, all the information is dapat ibutang siya sa first paragraph and kung unsay pinakabalita. So first of the five W's is who lead. So this is used when the person involved in the story is more prominent than what he or she did or what happened to him or her. This is common when the subject is a public figure such as the principal, mayor, or well-known student leader. Second is the what lead. This is used when the event or what took place is more important than the person involved in the story. The focus is on the action or incident itself. So, for example, given in the slide, it is shown that the lead highlights the mass induction of newly elected officers rather than naming individuals. So, ang emphasis is nasa panghitabo dili sa tawo. Third is the where lead. This is used when the place is unique and no prominent person is involved. The location becomes the most interesting or newsworthy element. So, for instance, the Philippines will be the site of the next Miss Universe pageant. So, in this case, the location is the most important element of the news because it answers the question kung asa nahitabo. Fourth is the when lead. This is used when the time element is the most significant for the story, such as deadlines, schedules, or historical dates. This is useful when the timing itself makes the story important, like during elections, anniversaries, or urgent announcements. For instance, today, almost to the hour, revolutionary government was proclaimed by former President Joseph Estrada. Fifth is the why lead. This is used when the reason behind the event is more important than the event itself. So it explains the cause or purpose of what happened. In short, nganong nahitabo ang balita or this helps readers understand the deeper meaning of the event. So, for example of this, because of poverty, around 100 students dropped out from school last year. This was learned from PNU President Nilo L. Rojas. Lastly is the how lead. This is used when the manner or process of how something happened is the most interesting or important detail in the story. So this is effective when the method or procedure is unusual or surprising. So in summary, the five W's and one H help journalists determine which type of lead to use so that the most relevant and newsworthy information is presented first. Now let's proceed to the second tips in writing the lead, which is the conflict. So good stories often involve conflict because it creates interest. Conflict may involve problems, disagreements, challenges, or opposing sides. Including conflict in the lead helps make the story more engaging and relevant to the readers because it shows that something important is at stake. Third is specificity. A lead should be clear and precise. Journalists must avoid being too general. The more specific the information is, the more informative and credible the lead becomes. So, for instance, instead of saying many students, it is better to say more than 300 students para mas masabtan sa mga readers. Fourth is brevity. A lead should be short and direct to the point. Usually, it is written in one sentence with about 25 to 30 words. So this helps readers quickly understand the importance of the story without being overwhelmed by details. So in other words, dili palabian o kataas ang lead para dara siya sa point or dili siya mawala sa point. Fifth is the use of active sentences. So strong and active verbs make the lead more dynamic and easier to understand. Passive sentences should be avoided because they often sound weak and may hide important information. So active voice makes the story sound more alive and clear. Sixth is audience and context. Writers must consider what the readers already know. Since many people receive news instantly through social media, the lead should offer something new or deeper rather than merely repeating old information. So dapat makahatag og added value sa mga reader. So lastly is honesty. So the lead must reflect what the story is truly about. It should not exaggerate or mislead the reader. The writer must be able to support everything stated in the lead with accurate information in the body of the article. So, dapat makaposes og honesty ang writer. Now, let us move on to what to avoid when writing a lead. So, first, we have avoid flowery language. So, overusing adjectives and adverbs makes the lead sound dramatic instead of factual. So, news writing should be clear, simple, and objective, not poetic. Second is avoid unnecessary words or phrases. So unnecessary words make the lead long and confusing. So news writings values brevity, which means using only the words that are essential. If a word does not add meaning, it should be removed. So as the saying goes, if it can be removed without changing the meaning, remove it. So dili ka magamit og mga words nga unnecessary. Third is avoid formulaic leads. So formulaic leads are leads that follow the same predictable pattern, usually starting with phrases like there was, it was, or last Friday in almost every story. So these make news articles sound boring and mechanical. So if mogamit ka aning mga words readers may lose interest if all stories begin with the same way. While professionalism is important, writers should still aim for freshness and originality. And last, we have avoid starting with the word it. Starting a lead with it is usually weak because the word is vague. It does not immediately tell the reader who or what the story is about. The reader has to continue reading just to understand the subject. So I have here an example statement which state that the school administration announced the suspension of classes tomorrow instead of it was announced that classes will be suspended tomorrow. So, imong i-avoid ang word nga it. So, in conclusion, writing effective lead is one of the most important skills in news writing and campus journalism. The lead serves as the reader's first impression of the story, so it must be clear, accurate, and engaging. A well-written lead answers the most important questions, presents only essential information, and captures the reader's attention without being exaggerated or confusing. So by allowing these principles of good lead writing, such as being brief, specific, and objective, and by avoiding common mistakes like wordiness and vague openings, student journalists can produce stronger and more professional news articles. Ultimately, a strong lead does not only introduce the story but also determines whether the reader will continue reading the entire news report. That would be all about my discussion. Thank you for watching.